Hello and welcome to my dressing table. I'm going to give you a mini tour of my bedroom, our bedroom, and the space where I keep all my makeup and jewellery and occasionally sit and sort myself out. As you can see, I've got some of the pictures that my mum and my grandmother both drew when they were at art school. I sold many of them, but these are a few that I've kept and hung on our bedroom wall, with a mirror that used to belong to my mum and a ladder that we found in a friend's garden. That chair was also my mum's. There's a lot of my mum in our home because she's moved so much. She keeps on leaving beautiful pieces with us, which I'm very grateful for. Then we've got where we hang our clothes. Both and John and I share that space for all of our clothes. I'm on the left, he's on the right. Then the suitcases hold all of our ones from the other season. This is my makeup basket. I have three little baskets within the basket. This is the one for lips. There's some Code Beautiful pieces in there and I'll link to them in the video notes. That's my eye basket with eyeliners, eyebrow pencils and brushes, and then that's my skin basket where it's got bronzer, a bit of blush and concealers. Again, a lot of Code Beautiful that I've shared previously. I'll share the code. Then here we have my hair elastics box. It's a little box that's been lined on the inside. I never really brush my hair. I just comb my fringe and run my fingers through the rest of my hair. And that has all of my little bobby pins in for it. A radio that was my dad's. My mirror that fell off the wall, so now it's propped up against the radio. My rose water for spraying my skin. And black seed oil, which I use on my face, on my chest and arms. They're both really simple and just really useful. And then my perfumes, the Jo Malone rose perfume that my mum and brother gave me for my 40th birthday, and the rose perfume that John made me for my 42nd birthday. He found a vintage bottle and then collected the different scents and layered them with base notes and what have you, learnt all about it. So it feels very, very beautiful to have a perfume from my mum, my brother, and then one from John as well. Then this little shelf piece was a gift from my friend Maz for my birthday, and it's got all of the other bits and bobs like my scarf, extra bits of makeup, this fan that Maz also brought back from Portugal, a little tin with some more jewellery in it, and then up top these beautiful sequined little bags that my mum found one. I think I found this one and my mum found the other one. And then for all the fancy parties that I never ever go to. Face paints, nail varnish, I think some vitamin D and essential oils in there. Then these beautiful bags. I think my mum again found both of these and the mermaid. One of them's chainmail and one of them's beaded. They're just so beautiful to look at. I don't need an occasion for them. And the beaded one, not the beaded one, this chainmail one, that actually went to the BAFTAs earlier this year, was it? My accessories definitely have a far more exciting life than I do. So anyway, the main reason that I was here was to show you more about my jewellery. So I will shut up and show you the rest. I'm filming this propped up on my mirror. So it's probably a terrible angle. I can't see it. And I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but just wanted to show you while sat in my bedroom. A few people have asked me about my jewellery, about the different pieces that I wear every day, and so I thought I'd start off with this bangle. It's a copper bangle, and I can't remember when I started wearing them. It was probably about 20 years ago. I really just like the simplicity of a pure circle, so without anything hanging off of it or any stones on it. I just really like the very simple, clear circle. So I used to wear quite a few, but it now feels a bit too busy, and I stopped wearing them as well because I remember the jingle jangle used to wake up the kids when I was trying to get them down to sleep when they were babies. So if I wore one, it was still silent. So that's my one bangle. I either wear this one or I've painted one somewhere actually. I'll look for it. There's this yellow one, which I really love, which I think was H&M years ago. This one was from a seller on Etsy that John found. This one was H&M. Let me just see if I can find. This is my jewellery box. It's not in here. I wonder where it could be. I kept it safe, but I mean, this is a whole treasure trove in itself. There's a few more bangles that I've worn over the years, all tangled up. That's for another day. So yeah, so for today I think I'm going to wear this copper one. And then my rings. So let's start off with this one. This is, I guess, a kind of engagement ring that John gave me many moons ago. We had kind of agreed that we were going to get married. I don't think we either of us really asked each other. We just kind of agreed that maybe it would be a fun thing to do. And one evening I was coming home from work and John said, "Oh, just let me know when you're close." So I texted him saying, "I'm coming up to the door." And as I walked through the door, the house that we lived in at the time in Manchester, I could hear our favourite Talking Heads song playing, and I walked into the kitchen. It was candlelit, and he'd made a beautiful spread on the table, and he went down on one knee and offered me this ring. So this is my kind of engagement ring. We didn't exchange rings when we had our civil partnership. It feels more symbolic than anything, really. I gave him a ring which he never wears because it's too heavy, so I think that's in my jewellery box somewhere. So rings aren't really kind of a big part of our union, I guess, if that's what you'd call it. This is another ring that he gave me years ago. It's meant to look like bark. I don't know if you can see it. And it's just wrapped round in one circle. It's from both of these actually are from the Arts and Crafts Centre in Manchester in the Northern Quarter, and that sits on this finger. My engagement ring sits on this finger because it's really simple and really easy and doesn't get in the way when I'm using my right hand because I'm right-handed. This one sits here. Then this ring is amethyst, and it was my grandmother's. When my grandmother passed, she had a beautiful box full of jewellery, and she'd written a very detailed list of which piece was to go to everyone. She really loved jewellery. She studied jewellery at Glasgow School of Art, and it was a big part of her identity. And she loved choosing out rings and necklaces, and she loved especially Celtic designs. So it was a big thing, like Brenda's jewellery box. And I don't really know if anything was valuable in it, really. It was more the design of it that she found interesting. So there weren't really any precious stones in there. They were more kind of craft pieces by jewellers instead of precious pieces. But when she passed, her jewellery box disappeared. None of us know what happened to it. And along with it disappeared the list of who she'd left each piece to. So that was a really sad thing to miss of hers, really, to not be able to honour, I guess, who she'd chosen pieces for. And then I think about a year or so later after her death, my mum was clearing out the bathroom cupboards, and she opened up one of the bathroom cupboards, and inexplicably, just on its own, sat in the middle of a shelf was this ring, just right there. So she kept it and she gave it to me, which is a huge risk because I have a terrible reputation for losing rings. I have lost the most beautiful rings, again, not precious rings, but beautifully crafted rings by artists, and I've always lost them. So to still be wearing this after a couple of years, maybe a year and a half, is a bit of a miracle. I don't want to jinx it. So that's up to there. And then the final ring that I wear is this thumb ring, which I think is just a silver piece of silver. It's got a mark on the inside. And I found this ring underneath my pillow when I was 14. I woke up one morning, stretched my hands underneath the pillow, and found this. I still have no idea what it was doing there. Part of me wonders whether maybe a friend of my mum's had stayed over and it had come off of her finger, but she never mentioned it and I just never mentioned it. So I've worn this ring since I was about 14 years old. So that's what, that nearly 30 years, I think. So those are my rings. Then this pendant I wear, it's from a maker, again, that John found on Etsy, and it's how do you say it? It's like being squashed, the metal, and it's a full moon. And John gave it to me one Christmas when at the time, I'd just started to really start reading and find out and learn more about the lunar phases and how much of an impact I could see in their cycles. And I was writing about it a lot, and I was leading a workshop about it at the time as well. So as a kind of an acknowledgement of my new lunar interest, John gave me this necklace. And I've never really worn necklaces. They've never really suited me. There's something about my neckline, I don't know, that just didn't suit. But this one always feels right, and I now feel a little bit lost, like something's missing if I don't wear it. So then earrings. I've worn hoops since forever, since I was a teenager. And I now have 2 pairs that I either wear. These aren't really hoops, these are more kind of kind of like, I don't know, these are quite ornate. I think they're from Claire's Accessories years and years ago. I either wear these when I'm not wearing anything too fussy, or I wear these hoops, which again I think John found from a seller on Etsy. I think they're made in India, and he bought them for me last Christmas because the hoops that I'd worn for about 15 years finally broke. And I just really love how the inside is kind of uneven and they're a bit tarnished and they're not too shiny, because what I'm wearing is a real mix. Like when I was younger, it was brought up, I don't know if I read it somewhere, like a style, or my mum told me, or a style magazine or something, that you should only wear one metal. But I'm wearing a whole mashup of metals. I'm wearing these, which are brass, this ring, which is brass, this bracelet, which is copper, and then these, which are, I don't know if they're all silver, but you know, they're kind of silver coloured. So that's the jewellery that I wear. So in the mornings, I just tend to come here and put my jewellery back on before taking off at night, put it on in the morning again, do my makeup, put on some of the perfume that John made me. I realised I adorned myself in a lot of the things that John's given me. And it's very simple, really. I have a very, very simple routine, and it's become more and more kind of consistent, I think, as I've got older. I think I used to experiment with different things a lot more, like lots of different brooches and different earrings and different necklaces. Although no, hardly ever any necklaces, but I always tried to. I have so many necklaces. I have a whole tin full of necklaces, and I keep on trying to wear them, but they just never looked quite right. Maybe as I'm getting older, they might look different again, and it might be worth trying them out. So yeah, there's less time for experimentation, but they kind of feel like amulets. They feel like lucky charms that I wear. And I like that they all have stories and all have meanings and come from different places. So yeah, that's my jewellery. Thank you for coming and having a look at my dressing table with me. Here's a little peek into my jewellery box. It is scandalously disorganised. As you can see, everything's tangled up. There's pieces in there that Elwyn's made me, like that bracelet, some old costume jewellery brooches. This piece of jewellery, this necklace that Elwyn found in a charity shop and gave me, which I cannot stand, but he loves. That one that he made with a flower, a USB charger. Okay, I think this is a video for another day, to join me in organising my jewellery box. It's actually quite embarrassing to show you all of this. And there's some amazing pieces like that brooch that my dad carved. So I am going to come back to this. So as you can see, this is the layout of the bedroom. Radiator, plant, dressing table, and that's the sink in the corner, which was here when we first moved in. I love it. That shawl I bought to wear on our civil partnership celebration, but it was so hot I couldn't wear it, so we hung it above the cheese board, and now it hangs there. Our bed with John's watch and a scrap of fabric. our rug and the chair that I found. That's where all of our clothes live pretty much. John on one side, that side there, me on this side. Stuff we store goes up top, shoes and more stuff goes there. In here it's like pyjamas and vests and what have you. Fancy dress box, belts go up there, hats and scarves. And then yeah, these are the pictures that were by my mum and by my grandmother. And dressing table. So that's everything. Thanks for watching.